What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here today for another edition of the weekly sports card market update, a Sunday tradition. We're doing this for 4 years now almost. The channel will turn 5 here in a couple of months, and the weekly sports card market update originated a few months after the channel was up and running, but the 5-year anniversary will be here in 2 months. Mid-May sometime. I always forget the exact date. But busy weekend in the sports card world. I'm actually recording this way earlier than normal. I have a bunch of family stuff to do. Tonight is my grandfather's birthday this weekend, so we have about an hour drive to go celebrate with the fam. So I don't have as many on-the-scene show reports as I normally would by this time of the day. Chicago Sports Spectacular is this weekend, and the Dallas show is this weekend, and I'm recording this around lunchtime, so haven't heard much from either of those, but if you attended either one of those two larger shows, feel free to fire off in the comments down below and let us know how it was. As you could see, sponsor of today's video and channel partner ComC is at the Dallas show this weekend. If you want to do some drop-offs, if not, and you need to mail in, they are still running their 30% off on elite and select submissions through the end of the month, which is my daily reminder that I still have a box of cards that I need to get bundled up to get out the door. That is going to be my Sunday goal. Tomorrow or today, while you are all watching this, I have no shows this weekend. Going to get that done and then sit down and relax and watch Selection Sunday. It is March Madness, which March Madness took a little bit of a blow this week with Cooper Flagg going down with an ankle sprain. My hopes and dreams of flipping Cooper Flagg Tops Now cards took a little bit of a hit. I got those 3 back from PSA a couple of weeks ago, or those 5 cards. I sold 2 of them already. I got 3 more left. And the plan was, well, I'll move a couple now and then hold on to a couple and see what happens in the tournament, and we'll see how he plays in the tournament, if he even gets a chance to play in the tournament. But if you're looking for Cooper Flagg cards and everything else, go check out our good friends over at ComC. And like I said, stop being lazy and get cards shipped into them. Don't be like me. The week started out kind of slow news-wise, but then picked up as the week went on. Topps has dropped some news multiple times this week. Some stuff we've talked about, some stuff we haven't. First, a little update on the Skeensy. Still got about a week to go. 550K right now currently for the Paul Skeens debut 1/1 patch. The one that really kind of, and like I said last week, I have no idea what this thing ends at. It's out of my realm. The one I really question is the Wemby right here, the 1/1 logo man from NT rookie patch going for 200,000. Hey, ultra rich people, spend your money however you want, but let's remind ourselves that card, or the patch rather, on that card is completely meaningless. It is tied to nothing. It is not game used. It is not player used. It is not associated with any specific player, game, or event. I will never understand paying crazy money for a card that has never touched a player, not game worn, and the card's not even autographed. At least if the card had an auto on it, you could kind of say, well, at least the card's autographed. But as we all know, Fanatics has the autograph license to Wemby, so he can't autograph that card, at least not out of the pack. I don't know. That one really, really baffles me. Speaking of Topps and Fanatics, I didn't pull up anything for it, but we did get the news this week about the antitrust case, the various aspects of that will continue on. If you have not, I'm going to point you back to my interview with one Mr. Paul Lesko that ran earlier this week. Fantastic conversation with Paul. It's only about 20 or 25 minutes long. I purposely tried to keep it short so more people would check it out. But he really lays everything out in very easy to understand terms. And there's a couple really key takeaways in there that I won't spoil if you haven't watched it, but go check that out for more details on that court case, which was one of the bigger news things of the week. The other thing that happened this week, Insta Rips, the future of breaking. Fanatics Collect, Fanatics Live, all kind of teaming up on this one for these new digital repacks that tie back to a physical card that is stored in the Fanatics vault. I did not sit down and watch any of the breaks that these came out of, so I don't know, how good, bad, or indifferent they were. They did put the checklist up for the first run of baseball. It seemed fine. I did not deep dive it. I did not do a big financial breakdown on it or anything like that. There is a lot of different aspects on this one. We've talked about some of them already. One, it's just genius business. The one pro I will give it is the way that they have set this up with the breaker opening a digital pack and the card being stored in the vault and then immediately getting transferred to your Fanatics Collect vault. It eliminates a lot of the nonsense. The breaker can't steal the card. The breaker can't not ship the card. The breaker can't ship an empty package and say they shipped the card and be like, oops, somebody must have stole it, and keep the card, because they don't actually touch it. That is, to me, one of the bigger wins of this. And also the fact that you get instant ownership of it to do so what you will with it. So those aspects are intriguing to me from that side of it. I'm not planning on buying into any of these. I'm just letting you know that that might be one of the small positives from this. Like I said before, from a business standpoint, it's absolutely genius. Fanatics is making the card, then buying the singles. They're just making money hand over fist and getting little percentage points here and there all over the place in the hobby, and specifically on this thing. And like I said, I probably will be doing some sort of flow of money video, again, revisiting that one at some point in time. In other Topps news, this one just happened. This just came out Saturday morning. Topps, in cooperation with MLB, the 6 award winners from last year, Judge and Ohtani for MVP, Skeens and Luis Heel for Rookie of the Years, Skubal and Sale for the Cy Youngs, will wear gold MLB logo patches throughout the 2025 season. And then these specific patches will be used to make unique Logo Man auto cards. Now, I don't know if they're wearing them every single game or if it's just certain games, once a week, every single game. I don't know. That we don't know yet. It just says throughout, so it's a little vague there. But once again, we see the benefits of Topps being in bed with the leagues, in this case MLB, soon to be NBA and NFL, that the power of Fanatics, this is one of the benefits. Now cue up the comments of no normal person will ever see these cards. We don't know what product they're going to be in yet. We don't know how they're going to be distributed, if it's going to be high end, low end, a mix and match. It sounds like they could do multiples of these, but we continue to kind of see how Fanatics / Topps is going to leverage those relationships as they come up with these ideas to do these special things. And this is just going to continue throughout NBA and NFL once those come online as well. And I truly believe the next batch of, or the new era of high-end cards that people are going to want are going to be these event-specific cards. These game-use patches from very specific moments, whether that's the Ohtani Topps Dynasty Blacks from last year. Maybe these will be Topps Dynasty Black this year and inserted into different products. I think those from this era of, we talk about all the parallels and all the nonsense, I think this will be the stuff that people are truly going to chase. And maybe that's worth a deeper conversation as well. Talked about that earlier this week in regards to the NBA and NFL. The debut patches are confirmed for those two leagues. Not surprising. This was on the Jeff Wilson show with Mike Mahan. The other thing that they confirmed there, which was, we knew, but we didn't know for sure, we will be getting licensed Topps basketball in very early October, and then NFL in the spring. Did not get as specific on that one, but knowing we're going to have NBA licensed Topps cards in a few months, prepare the wallets now. That stuff's going to sell like hotcakes. Little non-sports to throw in here. Upper Deck's first big DC release is going to be coming soon. They have been starting to put up a bunch of preview images for it. DC Annual. Some cool artwork. Some cool looking stuff going on over here. I don't know if I'll get any of this to open or not, but I just wanted to throw it out there that it is coming soon. And they are already starting to do a bunch of previews for it. So if you were curious, you could go over to Upper Deck's IG page and take a look at the various things they've been posting. I believe Ben Burrows mentioned that there is, which I've heard this other places as well. I mean, they've kind of teased this themselves. Metal Batman will be probably the big release of the year, and then Fleer Ultra Superman later in the year will be one of the tentpole releases. The Batman Metal or DC Metal, that will be one of the bigger non-sport releases this year, especially from Upper Deck. Topps Chrome Sapphire, the old unlicensed stuff, dropped on Friday. I didn't even try. I have no idea how it went. I don't know if everyone got some that wanted some. Not much markup at all on the secondary market. Not surprising. I think they retailed in the 400s. I'm not even 100% sure. They're selling in the low 5s. There's a lot sitting in the low 5s, that 525 price point. You can get a box there if you really want one. So really no margin to be made flipping these things. And it's not surprising. People got burned on Topps Chrome Sapphire basketball. I do not expect this one to be super, super popular either. But just wanted to remind people that it was out there. Now, something that is very popular. These Topps Murakami boxes continue to go absolutely wild. Anywhere from $500 to $600 and some dollars these days for these. These are from the Tokyo series. Pretty tough to track down. I have not seen a ton of singles hit the market yet, but I'm sure Ohtani stuff from these are going to go absolutely nutty. But the boxes themselves are doing extremely well. Pretty limited print run on these. So good luck to you if you are looking to rip any of those. Last news piece before we jump fully into charts and graphs. Also a little bit more Topps news here. We have the official design for 2025 Bowman. Not too bad. Looks almost more like an insert than a regular card. They picked a nice card to do it on with the blue refractor auto there of the Jack Caglione. More on him in a minute. But that is your 2025 Bowman design. I trying to think who the big names are. I guess they list some of them. Jack Caglione won't be a Bowman first. Jesus May, JJ Weatherholt, and Charlie Condon. Condon was the big one from last year's draft. He got skipped out of Bowman last year at the tail end to be held back for regular Bowman this year. So he'll be a big chase. Actually, just saw he got hurt in spring training, so that could potentially impact his card prices a little bit. But Caglione, the big one from 2024 Bowman draft, he has had a very hot spring training, and his card prices have been going up. Now, keep in mind, these haven't been on the market too long. These came out around Christmas time. But over the last 60 days, his just base auto and a PSA 10 is up about 7%. But the PSA 10 is up 63%, up to $800 on his PSA 10 first Bowman auto. As, like I said, he is having a very hot spring. I don't know if he'll make the big leagues this year or not. I guess there is a chance. I've read some stuff that said they could be aggressive with him if he just absolutely crushes the minors and, maybe they're in position for a playoff run or they're performing pretty good. But he is having just a tremendous spring. One of the hotter players in spring, and with his cards just coming out, is pretty interesting. Football. We are in the middle of the football off season. A bunch of stuff has been happening. Players moving around. There really hasn't been anything super crazy. Debo went to the Commanders. There hasn't been a bunch of big name quarterback switches. A lot of quarterbacks to change have just kind of been, okay, Geno Smith switching teams. No one cares. Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks. I guess. There just hasn't been a lot going on to majorly shift card prices. I poked around a couple that had significant jumps, which one, okay, I get. The other one is just okay, sure. DK Metcalf went to the Steelers. His stuff jumped way up based off that. Not surprising given the Steelers fan base is pretty rabid and DK's pretty good. Their quarterback situation is a question mark at best at this present moment. And then the one that was the head scratcher, Mac Jones stuff shooting way up based off the 49ers signing him as the backup quarterback. His silver prism basically almost doubled or tripled overnight. 312, it was $35. Back in February, it was $25. Reminder, this is for a PSA 10 silver. And then after the signing, it jumped up to $60. So depending on when you bought it, and if you go back in February, this card sold for $8 in a silver PSA 10. You ouch. There's a, what is that? A $20 sale. There's a $15 sale. If you bought Mac Jones on the low and you can make profit, sell that thing as fast as humanly possible. My goodness. Checking in on our old boy Patrick Mahomes, just to poke the comment section a little bit. Continues to kind of slip down, now down to just above 4K, right at 4K. Was floating around the 4.2, 4.3, 4.5 range. Overall, over the last 60 days, down almost 25%. We'll see if he stabilizes at 4K or if it slips below that magical number and gets back into the threes again. But his stuff continues to slowly creep down after the Super Bowl loss. On the NBA side of things, quick check-in on our boy Wemby, obviously out for the season with the blood clot issue. Actually hasn't really dropped a ton. He's down 20% over the last 30 days and has kind of leveled out around $700. Last sale averages out about $725. That's essentially where he's been sitting. When I was at Ships a couple weekends ago, his stuff was going. I saw silvers in cases stickered at $725, which means you could probably negotiate it a little bit lower than that if you're, paying cash and in person. But overall, not a huge hit. I actually just saw De'Aaron Fox is now done for the season. So the Spurs are probably on the fast track to another very, very good draft pick next year to give him a little boost. Last but not least, Caitlin Clark. Her silver prisms continue to kind of try to find their floor in this newly released product. Still, I'm only looking at the last 14 days. Still correcting themselves, down 20% and 30% respectively on the base silver and the image variation. So these have still yet to find their floor. We will see where they end up settling in at, and we should see graded copies starting to hit the market very soon if we haven't already, and see what those things go for. With that, we are going to wrap it up there. Keep it a little shorter today. Like I said, I got a bunch of stuff I got to get to. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. We will catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.